Despite spending over a decade in the nutrition and health field, I didn't understand the importance of calories until it was too late. I suffered a lot of increasing health issues, not understanding that the reason why was actually calories. I thought the underlying cause had to do with something wrong with the foods I was eating, not getting enough nutrients, or an underlying infection. While many in the health field are aware of metabolism and thyroid health, they're unaware of the most important tool to ensure both are functioning properly, which is food. Calories themselves actually help the body temperature to be high enough so that you can maintain a homeostasis. This makes sure that various functions in the body are optimized. And if the body temperature isn't high enough, this indicates that your body will be cutting corners and not fulfilling the functions that it's supposed to optimally. When the body temperature is too low, we aren't able to fight infections like normal. This is actually what fevers are for. They raise the body temperature so that infections are fought. Surprising things happen when you do raise your body temperature regularly, such as having more supple skin, thicker hair, more regular digestion, better mental health, more energy, better mood. And again, you'll be able to fight infection of various kinds, not just viruses, but things like parasites, bacteria such as Lyme, which can be really detrimental if your immune system isn't shored up. And you can also regulate your heart function, which was my case. Things you can do to raise your body temperature include not drinking too much water. Your urine should actually be yellow rather than clear, which indicates a balance of cellular solutes, which is really important for your mitochondria, which empowers your metabolism. You also want to get plenty of rest and also enjoy the sun. These both help lower cortisol, which is vital for optimal metabolism. You can also include saturated fat in your diet, which is helpful, as well as carbohydrates. And it's important not to be militaristic about general food rules because there can actually be a place for any food, including processed foods and sugars. And this is specifically important for people that have a history of chronic dieting or eating disorders because they're significantly depleted in calories, and these are easier to process, which can be actually really beneficial and medicinal for them. So, food rules hurt the metabolism by becoming constantly stricter. So, for instance, intermittent fasting becomes eating only one meal a day, and things like low carb becomes ketogenic diet, and carnivore diet, and that turns into raw carnivore. And then there's the paleo diet and veganism, and all of these concepts are always battling it out to find out which one's the best. And people end up having analysis paralysis because nothing seems right. There's all this information competing. And society tells us that basically the less calories that we eat and the more exercise we get is better. And this can be detrimental to the metabolism because our body starts conserving energy after so long. And this explains how the average body temperature has slowly decreased in our society. So, eating smaller selections of less palatable food inevitably will lessen your appetite, and many adhering to specific diets like keto, paleo, veganism will attest to the fact that their cravings fade and they'll think that this is the diet working when in fact it's actually a famine response. This is because our ancestors had to lose their cravings when food wasn't available. So it's like a fight or flight type response. And overexercising can also do this for the same reason. Like when our ancestors were on the go looking for food because there wasn't any available, they had to lose their appetite. Otherwise, they would be slowing down the tribe and causing issues for their own survival. So there is scientific evidence behind this, specifically the Minnesota starvation experiment by Ansel Keys. And that really goes to show that it's the individual's unique makeup that indicates what they need and when they need it. It's not just a simple calories in, calories out kind of thing. And actually, the people in that study cut their calories to only around 1,600 or 1,300 calories, which is actually quite common in our current society. But it showed how much their basal metabolic rate slowed down, and they had serious psychiatric issues from that kind of restriction that we don't realize can happen today as a result of calorie cutting. There are also overfeeding studies that show that eating more calories doesn't beget just constantly gaining more weight and eating more calories. if one allows the appetite and consumption to even itself out, it will happen, and weight eventually does even out back to its baseline. But this is only if you really do allow your body to have whatever it wants, which is very uncommon in our society, even if it's not conscious. There is also a phenomenon called hypermetabolism in eating disorder recovery, which indicates again that calories in, calories out calculations aren't so cut and dried, and it's very bio-individual. So people that would start eating a normal amount of calories after severely restricting would go into way hypermetabolism to where they burn it off a ton. My own experience also, I find to be evidential for all of this. I've maintained a steady body temperature even after not having to mindfully implement these practices anymore, because my body has evened out in the way that it's supposed to when it heals through this process. There are people like Kayla Kotecki, Stephanie Buttermore, and Jesse Ruman in the fitness industry. Kayla Kotecki and Stephanie Buttermore were both fitness models, and they found that after dieting so long, and it created a lot of health issues, and they were unable to maintain an ever changing, smaller goal weight. But when they recovered, they were able to maintain a stable, healthy weight effortlessly because their metabolism was restored. And Jessie Raymond was also in the fitness industry, and she found that she's actually continued to lose weight despite eating whatever she wanted and implementing these guidelines, even 4 years after recovery, which is pretty unheard of. It's actually quite unheard of to lose weight and be able to keep it off when you have a history of dieting, if you look at the statistics. So the missing link is to repair your metabolism. And I have a guide that I created to help people do that, to track your body temperature and increase your metabolism in a concrete way that you can verify at home. And you can download that by going to the link in my profile or in the description, depending on where you're seeing this, entering your email, and you'll also get emails from me helping you implement this and helping you understand any pitfalls that I went through that I want to save you from, so you don't have to go through any of the struggles that I did. And I hope this helps.